Alexander Roodman was packing up his room, preparing for a gap year before college, when I met him at his family's Washington, D.C., townhouse. The room was a typical teenage disaster zone, with clothes and books strewn everywhere. Then, Alex picked up an origami sculpture that rippled with dozens of ridges and depressions. "It's kind of a repetitive pattern," he said. "First, you make the diagonal folds and these lateral folds to cut the paper in half. It's pretty complicated." Alex, a slim teenager with long black hair and penetrating eyes, is gifted with the focus for this. But the way his brain works can be a challenge. And like many parents of children with autism, Alex's mother and father have spent years trying to find a doctor or school or therapist who could help. It's a little bit like hot potato. Is the school supposed to counsel me? Is the pediatrician supposed to counsel me? Am I supposed to figure that out? Said Dr. Mai Pham, Alex's mother. I think he always believed we were on his side. But he could also see that we were sometimes helpless. The U.S. has made major strides in recent decades in raising awareness about autism and other intellectual and developmental disabilities, which affect as many as 1 in 20 Americans. Improvements in screening, new therapies and burgeoning specialty clinics have made available care that was unthinkable a generation ago. But the healthcare system is still failing millions of Americans from the time they are children, experts and advocates say. When Alex was born, this world and its frustrations were an abstraction for Pham and her husband, David Roodman, a Harvard University-trained policy analyst. There were signs that Alex, their second child, was a little different. Pham remembers taking Alex on a trip when he was 3 months old. In a hotel room in Miami, we put him on the floor thinking, "Okay, we have 5 minutes now before the baby acts up," Pham said. He actually spent 20 minutes being nearly still, just his eyes tracking the shadows of a palm frond on the walls. In preschool, Alex had difficulty connecting with other kids and sometimes became agitated when classmates didn't seem interested in what he wanted to talk about. Still, Pham and Roodman were assured by their pediatrician and others that there was no cause for alarm. Even when a school assessment established that Alex was autistic, Pham and Roodman received few warnings about the challenges ahead. As Alex got older, he attended a private middle school that specializes in working with students like him. He did well, according to his parents. The transition to high school proved more difficult, however. Although a gifted math student, Alex increasingly struggled with subjects like English and history that require explaining the perspective of others. His autism fueled crippling anxiety. Alex had trouble sleeping and picked at his hands until they bled. There were frequent breakdowns. He might slam the wall with things,